Hello and welcome to FTL Faster Than Light. A really great game. I enjoy it so much. And yeah, so I decided I want to share it, and I already made a run with the Torus. It was an epic fight against the rebels. You might want to check that out. But since I noticed that, well, unbelievable, but less people than I expected know the game, I decided to make a short tutorial where I explain how the game works, what you should do, shouldn't do, some special tricks I found out over the course of time. Yeah, let's switch into the game and take a look. Yeah, the interface is very simple, really nothing to do, well, nothing to do here, or nothing special here. You simply just start up a new game. Then you have the hangar here, where you can choose a ship, and you have to do, well, you have different types of the ships, and you have different missions where you can unlock more stuff. But you don't have to pay to unlock stuff. It's just in-game based. You can't pay to unlock things. That's a major difference to many games, maybe. And yeah, so let's switch to one of the ships, the Torus we used last time, and let's start the game. You can choose difficulty here. Easy should be rather easy. Normal is quite challenging, and hard is if you, yeah, enjoy pain. So the game says failure is part of the fun. You can't save and reload. You can only save and continue where you left off, but if you fail, you are dead. So there's no second chance. You simply have to restart. And on normal, it's really challenging. It's not guaranteed that you make it every run you do. Even on easy, it's not guaranteed. You might fail, and it's no shame to fail on easy, but on hard, I never made it. You need a lot of luck to do it, or you need some special skills, I don't know, who knows. But nothing else about that. I highly encourage you to enable advanced content. This is an improved version of the game where more stuff is happening, and let's jump right into it. The data you carry is vital to the remaining Federation fleet. You'll need supplies for the journey, so make sure to explore each sector before moving on to the next. But get to the exit before the pursuing rebel fleet can catch you. Yeah, and that's basically it. If we take a look, this is our FTL drive, we can jump, and here are the star systems. There are lanes connecting them. And sooner or later, the enemy or the rebel fleet will appear behind you and chases you through the exit. And there are 8 sectors total. We are now in the first sector. And you should try to plan out your jumps that you can get the maximum amount of systems you visit before the enemy fleet catches you. So if you take too long, they will catch you and some insane fighting will ensue. And you don't even gain something out of it, so you're highly encouraged to stay ahead of the enemy fleet. And the goal is to reach the exit, and in the meantime, yeah, gather resources, gather experience for your crew, and yeah, strengthen your ship so you can survive the next sector. So difficulty is progressing rather steeply, so you have to improve. If you take a look at the ship, you immediately notice this is a top-down view where you see the different compartments of your ship. There's the weapon section, engines, piloting, med bay. There's the door system, shields, sensors, oxygen. And special for the Engi is we have a drone control room initially installed. And you see there are open rooms, so you can get additional systems. For example, you can get a cloaking system or a teleporter where you can board enemy ships. So a lot of options to, yeah, build your ships, and that's part of the replayability of this game. So every ship you choose plays absolutely differently, and you can further customize the ship. So that's part of the fun. So let's take a look at the systems. Maybe most important thing are the weapons, and you see this is corresponding down here. Here's our weapon system. At the moment we only have one single gun. This is an Iron Blast Mark II, and there are different weapons in the game. So this is an iron weapon that does damage to enemy shields, and it blocks enemy systems, but it doesn't do hull damage. You see here, this is our remaining health, and if we go into a fight you will see the enemy health. So iron guns only deactivate things and, well, do damage to shields. We have the current shield tracks here, and damaged shields will regenerate. So you, as the Engi ship, you have to find a means to actually damage the enemy, because with the iron gun you can't shoot them down. And this will be our combat drone. But let's stay with the weapons for a moment. So there are different, there are normal laser weapons. We don't have one of those, but we can later find or buy them. And laser weapons are the simplest ones. They do damage to shields, they do damage, and they do actual damage in a sense of not deactivating things, but really destroying things. They will damage systems and they will damage hull points. Then we have beam weapons. They are special because they don't shoot bursts of energy that travel towards the enemy ship. So this is more a slicing beam. You can aim them. I will take a look at the aiming when we are in an actual fight. But just to explain it, beam weapons don't do damage to shields. So shields block beam damage. If you level up your beam weapons later, you can penetrate a certain amount of shields, but in the beginning you can't penetrate them. So you have to take down the shields first and then slice the enemy ship and do damage that way. Next thing, there are rockets. They penetrate shields and go immediately for damage. So that's another option you have. So you can build out different combinations of weapons. For example, iron weapons to take down the shields, and then beam weapons to slice them, or rockets to immediately damage vital systems like shields and weapons. This way making it more easier. But all of the systems, all of the weapon systems have different strengths and weaknesses. And another category of weapons are drones. So we have a combat drone here. You deploy that, it will travel to the enemy ship and start shooting. Combat drones have laser weapons, you have also beam drones, and you have defense drones that can shoot down enemy incoming rockets. There are several different more drones like that, like system repair drones, combat drones, different stuff, but I invite you to explore that for yourselves. And yeah, that's basically the way you can damage enemy ships. Then let's take a look at our energy. You have a reactor here that has a certain amount of power, and you can distribute that to different ship systems. If I power up the engines, you will notice the available power goes down, and this way you can activate, deactivate things as you need it. For example, if I want to power up my combat drone right now, it won't work because it needs 2 power pips, and I have to, for example, deactivate my med bay first. Now I can... No, I can't at the moment because there's no enemy ship, but I could now activate my combat drone. Yeah, here obviously is the shield system. The more, well, let's take a look at the ship's view. Here you do all the upgrading. You see here's the reactor. You can invest money. This is the scraps here. We can collect that by fighting or finding things. We can upgrade our reactor so we have more total power available. And we can upgrade systems. So this is the potential, how much energy we can put into them, and this will improve the functioning of the systems basically. You can get more layers of shields, you can get better evasion chance by powering up the engines. You get faster healing, faster oxygen generation, you can activate more weapons, you can activate more drones. This does a little bit of auto evasion if the piloting system is not manned, if there's no personnel there. This gives you more sensor information, and this makes your doors between your rooms harder to penetrate, because you will get boarded and you will have to fight off borders, and having the blast doors will make it a little bit easier. Yeah, that's... Well, let's take a look. You have here the crew. That's not really necessary because you can view your crew from the main screen, and we have special equipment. Here you see our weapons. We have some augmentations. This is special for the Engi. They can heal up people without them being in the med bay, and you can find more, but the room is limited. The Engi ship, for example, can only install 3 weapons, 3 drones. Usually you have 4 weapons and 2 drones, so the Engi are the tech people. They are basically robots, so they are focused on that. Yeah, what's more? Your crew will gain experience if they, for example, the pilot successfully evades an enemy shot. He will learn, and over time his evasion chance will increase, so you are, well, highly incentivized to keep your people in their stations. They can specialize, and you can save the crew positions and send them back later, because they will have to repair damaged systems and rush around the ship a little bit, but they should have their core stations and learn to do how to do things there. And a manned station usually gives you a bonus. So if the piloting system is not manned, I can't jump at all. So you at least need a pilot. The engines will give you a bonus to evasion. The shield system, if it's manned, the shields will recharge faster. If you, for example, go to the door system, you will upgrade the level of your doors. You see now you have blast doors. Sensor system will give you more information on enemy ships, and weapons will recharge your weapons faster. But we'll take a look at that mechanics in our first fight. So let's simply jump ahead. This is already an interesting fight where I can explain more things. We are getting attacked by a pirate interceptor, and first thing you usually want to do is analyze the enemy ship. So you will notice over time by the look of the weapons what weapons you are facing. So this is a charged laser. It can, well, store energy and then fire multiple shots. So this will easily penetrate our shields. Very dangerous, so it will absolutely do damage. This is a bomb system. It will teleport bombs onto our ship. That doesn't get stopped by shields, so extremely dangerous enemy right away. If you're facing something like that, you most likely want to disable their shields right away. Not their shields, their weapons. So we are firing up the Iron Blast to power down the shields, and maybe if the shields are down, deactivating their weapons. And our combat drone will try to hit them. Hopefully, once the shields are down, some hits are going to land. So that's one thing. Then you want to have maximum power on shields, otherwise we are totally screwed. We want maximum evasion. We don't need the mat bay at the moment. We want power onto our weapon system, that's obvious. And we could even deactivate the oxygen if we need emergency power, but note that our people would suffocate if we power it down for too long of a period. So let's go into it, and we have auto fire activated. So you see here the weapons are charging up and then they are firing. If auto fire is activated, they will redo the process and automatically shoot. That's easy in the beginning, but later you will have different weapon systems that have different charge up times. So ideally you want to coordinate fire, so you power down the enemy shields and hit at the same time. If you shoot, wait, shields upgrade again, shoot again, or shields recharge again, you might not do any damage at all. If you synchronize your fire, you will power down the shields and hit. So this is some micromanagement you have to do later on. See, now we already landed a hit onto the weapon system through the powered down shields, and now one of their weapons is deactivated, not damaged, but deactivated. And first hit on an empty room that does only damage, doesn't power down any of their systems. Now we landed a hit at their weapon system, and now the enemy crew will run here and try to repair stuff. So we could, for example, send a guy to the sensor system, and now we are actually seeing the enemy. So now their shields are down and they are immediately sending someone to repair. And you want to do that yourself. If you are getting hit, you will have to run around and try to keep your ship operational in the heat of the battle. So that's part of the fun. Yeah, and they try to surrender. We can choose to let them live, get what they offer, or we will not accept surrender. Usually, if you accept surrender, you get more. Well, let's talk a little bit about the resources. We have fuel, so each jump uses up one of our fuel, and if you run out of fuel, you have to hope someone helps you. But that takes time, and most of the time the enemy fleet overhauls you and you're dead. So running out of fuel, very bad thing. Then we have rockets. Since we don't use a missile launcher, we don't need rockets, but this is an expandable type of ammunition. Your beam weapons and laser weapons, they don't use ammo, so only the rockets and the bombs do. So this basically is the resource for bomb launchers and rockets, and those are drone parts. Every time you deploy a drone, you will use up one of the drone parts, and drone parts are very expensive. So accepting a surrender, usually you get more of those resource types, either rockets, fuel, drone parts, and less of the scraps. So that's generally, let's say, money. And if you destroy the enemy ship, you will get less of those and more scraps. And scraps, you need to buy things in shops, and you needed to upgrade systems and to upgrade your energy level. So in the beginning, usually you rather want scraps, so we will not accept surrender. And we'll try to kill them. And the ship explodes, leaving behind a substantial cloud of useful scrap material. And you see, less fuel, less drone parts, but a little bit more of the scrap, so it totally wasn't worth it. But oh well. And sometimes you end up in regions of the universe or in star systems where there's danger present. This time we have solar flares here, and the solar flares, they will set things on fire. So the longer the fighting takes place, the more pulses you will receive, and well, it will get challenging. So now we will have to send in crew members and try to put out the flames. Another option is to open your doors, drain the oxygen of those rooms and suffocate the fire this way. Both are viable options. Since we have time here, I'm simply sending in my crew to do it, then send them back, and we should soon be ready to jump it again. That's it. Yeah, automated ship. You very often have options. You can avoid provoking the ship, and we can attack them. Usually you want to take the aggressive option, because if you avoid fights, yeah, sure, you don't run any risks, but you don't earn money. So you have to destroy things to be able to upgrade things. And sometimes you get special blue options, and the blue options are always the best ones. So very versatile crew, special systems you have installed or upgraded, or experience of your crew allows you to take very favorable actions that are perfectly suited to solve a problem. So that, yeah, allows a little bit of role playing and really gain advantages of, for example, upgrading your med bay. Yeah. In this case, we want to go to the sensor station. We see there's an enemy combat drone here. This will most likely try sooner or later penetrate our shields. Now our weapons are deactivated. We have to frantically repair it, otherwise we can't shoot. In the meantime, we can power up our own drone. And see, this rocket missed. You see here our evasion chance at the moment is 20%. We can upgrade this, like I said, by either gaining experience. See, he has done 4 successful evasions already. He needs 15 to gain a skill. Or we upgrade our engines. That's an option as well. And once our weapon system is repaired, we can power it up and start shooting at the enemy. Another miss. That's lucky. They hit our weapon system again. But now their weapons are deactivated again. So that's not an issue. And the automated scout is going to lose. And we collect material again. So this time we get scraps of the destroyed scout, but we can also access recent scans from the unguarded station now, and now our map gets updated and we'll have a lot more information. You see, those symbolize enemy ships or possible ships in the area, so most likely there will be a fight. We see there's a store, there's a distress call, and that's very convenient because this way I can show off 2 major elements of this game. We will visit the store now. And we find ourselves surrounded by a group of mysterious alien vessels. They hail you and apparently have some valuable technology for sale. So let's see. We can buy and sell. We can buy fuel. We can buy missiles and drone parts. At the moment we are good. Like I said, we don't need missiles. We can repair hull damage. We could have some augmentations, like a life form scanner, a fire suppression system, a drone recovery arm. That would be very useful, because this way we can recover drones that haven't been destroyed. And this way we wouldn't have to buy those things, and at 8 scraps a piece, those are really expensive. And we can't afford it, so usually you want to avoid going to a shop too early, because it's advisable to first invest in your ship systems. So upgrading a layer of shield, for example, that money is simply better invested than buying drone recovery arm at the beginning. You can buy additional weapons, and sooner or later with the Engi ship you have to buy weapons, because yeah, our measly iron gun and the drone don't cut it. If the enemy has 3 layers of shield, you can do absolutely nothing. And there's a second page. We can recruit more crew, and it's good if you have diverse crew because they have strengths and weaknesses. The Engi, for example, have double repair speed but do only half damage in combat. The opposite are the Mantis. They are very fast and inflict more damage in combat, but they have half repair speed. Humans, they have they actually have special skills. They learn faster, but they don't have some inherent advantages like being good at, I don't know, repairing stuff or powering up shields or whatever. And there are more people, for example rock people, that can't burn down, are immune to diseases, so there are some special advantages gained from them as well. Then there are, I don't know the names of all of them, but they are guys. The Sultan, they are very important. They have less health, but they power up systems. They provide energy to systems where they are stationed, so you can save money on upgrading your reactor, and this will get very expensive later on. So upgrading those is 25 a piece, 30 a piece, 35 a piece, and this really accumulates. And also here, the first layers of shields are rather inexpensive, so you pay 50, 20 plus 30 for the next level of shields, but for the 4th level of shields you already pay 180. So of course your rewards will increase going forward. It's quite balanced, I think, so you're always challenged. It's never getting too easy or yeah, maybe too difficult, but never too easy. Yeah, let's visit the store again. We could sell stuff, but selling one of our 2 weapons would doom us, so no point in doing that. So like I said, nothing to do at shops early on. And what we can do next is answer to a distress call. Someone might need help. Let's take a look. Might be a trap, or someone actually wants help. And you have encountered a refugee ship drifting in space. It looks as it was fleeing the rebel advance and ran out of fuel. Its distress beacon is active, but you're not sure anyone is on board, and its communications seem to be down. Yeah, we could ignore it, or we could board the ship, but there's risk involved. For example, there could be people hiding aboard and attacking us. There could be a disease going around the ship that killed all the crew members and killing one of our own crew members. You can mitigate some of the risks by, for example, upgrading your med bay. You're safe from risks that involve diseases, for example, but normal med bay doesn't help. So anyways, we are going aboard, we are brave, we investigate, and we are lucky. It looks as if the ship ran out of fuel and the crew ran out of food not long after. Despite the grisly scene that remains, you find one surviving crewman locked in the freezer, almost perfectly preserved and apparently overlooked by the staff and crew. Perfect! We will bring him back to life, and now we have someone to man our shield system. So that worked out. And it's not always going your way, so I don't know what the actual chances are, but I feel it's like 50-50, maybe not even that. So high risk of negative outcomes as well. So being prepared, for example, upgrading oxygen, med bay, or one of the other systems here, will highly increase your chance of getting favorable outcomes. Yeah, we can power up our med bay for a moment. This will heal back our people. You see the health status here, and they can obviously die. Well, nothing else to do, so let's jump into one of these nebula locations, and they are special as well. So let's go in, and you'll immediately notice different layout, different look, and the tangled racks of many ships wait in dormancy here. You see lights flicker on what looks like debris. A rebel scout bursts out of the wreckage. So immediately pause and take a look. We have a drone system here. This is a combat drone. It will attack our ship, and they have the same layout as we have. So iron weapon that will deactivate our shields, and the combat drone can hit us. So we will do exactly the same. Try to hit them. Try to deactivate the drone system. Of course, the weapons don't do any damage. And then let's see how this pans out. Yeah, we deactivated their drone. And then let's hope we land a good hit. And this is actually a beam drone, so at the moment our shields are down. If the beam weapon would fire, it would slice across a small distance here. Let's switch the fire of our iron blast just to see it in action. See, here the drone beam went through this area, and it will do damage, 1 point of damage to systems, deactivating our door system, and it will do hull damage. Once again, slicing our weapons. Now we have to repair our weapon system, otherwise we can't fire, and we won. And see, it makes a huge difference what system you're targeting first. You always have to identify what is presenting the greatest risk. Sometimes you have to first try to go for the shields, because it would take too long, because the layers of shields are too big, you can't get enough damage through them. So getting down one layer of shield first will be beneficial in the fight. On the other hand, concentrating on the shields will allow to fire them. If you go for the weapons, you might miss and not push through the shields and not do any damage to the weapons after all. So you have to balance things. Sometimes you want to power down the oxygen system and starve them to death. That's an option. You might want to go for the med bay. Don't allow them to heal back up. Buy a teleporter, board the enemy ship and kill them that way. If you manage to board an enemy ship successfully, you will get more out of that fight, because the enemy ship isn't destroyed. You get more equipment, obviously. You might go for the drone system, because their drones represent the biggest danger. So a lot of options, and it's highly advisable to pause a lot, think, and make decisions that way. It's no rush, and the fights will get more chaotic later on, and you easily get some kind of input overload, because a lot of things are happening, and the way the human mind reacts, it frantically tries to do things and will make mistakes. The right thing to do would be pause, lean back, think, and then make the decision. But on the other hand, in the heat of the fight, it's a lot of fun to scramble and try to do it in real time. either way, your choice how you want to play this game. So a challenge maybe would be play the game without pausing. That's absolutely doable. Yeah, so let's go back to the piloting system so that we can actually jump. And you see already the enemy fleet is catching up. And visiting a nebula location is risky because you have a higher chance of negative things happening here, but the enemy is going to be slowed down by that because they can't locate you as good as they could before. I don't know how that's worked, but that's the storyline. And like you see, we jump too quickly across. You want to plan out your jumps a little bit better because now we could already go to the exit. That's very inefficient, so we would naturally try to visit as many star systems as possible. So I think we'll try to go, well, that's not efficient, but I will upgrade my med bay. So maybe we can get a special event at the distance call. We'll take a look at that. And then I think I have explained enough. You should be able to play the game now and follow what I'm doing a little bit better. But let's take a look at the giant spiders. You find a number of ships fleeing from a small space station. You hail them, asking what's wrong. Help! We are being overrun by some sort of giant alien spiders. Now we can send in our crew to help or leave them alone. And yeah, fighting spiders is no joke, so high risk of our people dying. But of course, again, there are things you can do. If you have, for example, have a mantis or someone who has a lot of fighting experience, you will be able to survive the spiders and get a huge reward. If you don't have that, the likelihood of one of your people dying and gaining nothing out of it is very, very high. So not having a mantis, not having someone that is good at fighting, yeah, it's more or less a suicide mission, but just to take a look, we'll send them in anyways. Your crew boards the station, cautiously moving between corridors. Suddenly, a man-sized arachnid bursts from a vent in the ceiling, followed by countless more. You fight your way back to the airlock and are forced to leave before accounting for all crew members. Not everybody made it back. See, Gladskin is gone. That's a huge blow, because now we can't man our weapon system. And yeah, more often than not, if you're not perfectly equipped to do something, it's better not to risk it. So, I hope that explains what FTL is about. I highly encourage you to try the game. It's rather cheap, it's easy to play and loads of fun. And yeah, hope to see you at one of my runs to save the Federation. And yeah, have a nice day. Bye. Yeah, and by the way, if you have more questions, feel free to drop a message below the video. I usually answer to all of the comments, so ask what you want regarding the game. I hopefully can answer it. So, see ya. Bye.